What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here for another month of what is our kind of deck build challenge. So this month we're going to be doing $200. So we have a $200 kind of budget, if you haven't watched this before, to build a deck on Dueling Book for the current format. I have a couple of ideas that I think I'm going to go with. Whether or not we can get it done with the $200 is going to be interesting, but basically we've got Dueling Book here. We're going to search stuff up, and then we jump over to here. It should work. Yeah, cool. That's going to record perfectly. And then we will have essentially what we're going to be punching into Dueling Book. That's it. Yeah, so it's TCG Player here. Dueling Book there. And then we'll type them in as we go. Before we get started though, as always, please remember to hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we're always happy to have new people on the channel. We're going to be doing these like deck build videos every month or so. We'll reset them every format. We'll do $100, $200, and $50 format kind of deck build videos. We'll always do the $50 one last, because that's more once the format's more defined. You can kind of then really budget with your tech choices and stuff like that. And you can definitely go kind of that line of play. But yeah, let's get into a bit of a deck build. We're not going to be playing Dragon Maids, as you can see on the screen right now. We're going to be building something else. You can't really afford Dragon Maids for $200. We're going to be trying to build Prankids. Prankids is a current meta deck in the format right now. And I feel as though it's a very good option, but it does require you to put in that dash or hyphen or whatever it's called in the Prankid name. So effectively, Prankids as a core isn't too expensive. You will need probably 3 place in the build we're going to be going with, which will eat up a lot of our budget. Just 2 doodle-doos all that is necessary though. So that's $100 of the budget out of effectively everything we've got to spend, which is $200. It's half the budget on just 5 cards. But that 5 cards is just the only engine pieces that are really expensive at all. Like the next expensive one is what, $3? And then yeah, everything else is pretty cheap. We can scrape by with some common Roxies, which will save a bit of money here and there. But let's start deck building. We'll get up a calculator as well. That's probably an important piece of the puzzle. Calculator. Okay. Whoop. Got the calculator. Cool. We'll move that over to the other screen, so that's not blocking a lot of the view. But let's go. So we've got Prankids up. So we're going to start off with, what, 3 copies of Prankids place. So 22, 28. So we all do all this by market price as well. So $2.28 times 3. You do need to probably factor in, if you're deck building this, that postage will become a thing. That can kind of bite you in the ass a little bit, but hopefully it's not too bad. So that's $66.84 of our budget done. And then we're going to be taking some Prankids do-doodle-doos. So those are currently $15.67. We're going to be taking 2 of those. So $15.67 again. Okay, so just those 2 cards is eating up $98.16 of our budget. I will make sure to punch those into Dueling Book. Let's go for some Prankids. Prankids is just enough. I'll switch over this so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to go for some Prankids. So our list is going to be 2 doodle-doo, 3 place. We're going to be doing a Desires build. That will limit our power ceiling in what we can play in terms of hand traps and stuff like that, because we will play increased ratios of other cards. But overall, it does make the build a lot more budget, because you're not having to pay those expensive hand traps like Ash. You can kind of fill out with more budget alternatives that are a little bit more specific in terms of the format. So we're going to be going 2 place, 2 plan, 2 pranks, or sorry, 3 place, 2 plan, 2 place, 3 pandemonium, 3 dropsies, 3 fansies, 3 lamp, 3 rocks, because again, it's going to be a Desires build. 1 Battle Butler, 1 Bow Wow, 1 Rip Roarin', 3 Meow Meow, then 1 on those ratios there. I'll punch these through, we'll get a number, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so we're back. So currently we've spent, as you can see, 130.5 USD. If only this was Australian. This would be a reasonably budget build. I do apologize if my face is really, really white as well. It's the joys of white screens here. Okay, so that is that. So we've spent 135. Next up, we're gonna need some Pot of Desires. So we'll go for... Let's go... Whoop, not Prankids. We want Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires. Okay, so most budget version of this is going to be the Toon Chaos version at $1.65. So that'll be what? An extra $3, $4.20... $4.80, $4.95, I believe that is. My maths is not the strongest suit, but so we'll go that plus 4.95, 30.5. Okay, so that'll bring us to 135. So we're at, what, Pot of Desires? 3 of that. Okay, next off, we're going to go for some There Can Be Only One. There can be only one. Okay, so that's going to cost us, what, $1.12, so that's $3.36. So I'll add that on, so we're going to go plus $3.36. There can be only one. Okay, so that is that. Next up, we're going to go for some Instant Fusion. Get ourselves one copy of that. That's got to be pretty budget. I remember when this used to be so expensive. Nowadays, it's nothing. The cheapest version, I believe, is going to be this Shadol Showdown version at 88 cents. So we're going to get one of that. Instant Fusion. Next up, we're going to go for a Called by the Grave. That'll be pretty important here. So we'll add on the 0.88 plus. There we go. Called by the Grave. Hopefully this isn't too bad. What have we got? That's not too bad at all. We can get a Called by the Grave from Extreme Force. It's the super rare. That's actually pretty budget, considering this used to be the expensive version. Now all these other versions have just dragged it down to the point where the short print common is worth more. That's... Did not expect to see that from Called by the Grave. But yeah, we're going to go $2.39. That'll be that. Get a Called by the Grave into this list. Called by the Grave. We'll need a Terraforming. 2 words Terraforming is apparently. Terraforming. This again should be pretty cheap. This one will sort by market price, low to high. 25 cents on a Terraforming. Not too bad at all. Not too shabby. 1 Terraforming. That gives us, what, 9 spots of flex here in the main deck. That's pretty budget. The side deck could start to hurt us a little bit on this build. So we're at 142 on this. Let's start to look at hand traps. Of course, Effect Veil is always the staple hand trap you go for when you're doing these kind of builds. At $1.19, that'll be what? $3.60 minus 3. So $3.57 on a playset of Effect Veiler. 3.57. Hopefully Ghost Spell's not too bad. That seems to be pretty prevalent in the current format. Effect Veiler. Playset of that. Then we'll go for the next card, which will be... Let's look at Ghost Spell, sorry. Can't just assume it's going to be cheap. Ghost Spell in the Haunted Mansion. $5.97. It's a pretty big power hand trap at the moment. So, like, it's not terrible. That'd eat up $15, putting us up to about 163-ish. It could get a little bit... We'll keep that on the back burner. I do think we need to probably fill out this extra deck as well. Let's see how much Totally Awesomes are. We will need to... Oh no, Parallel Exceed in the main deck. That's a thing. Parallel Exceed. Exceed. This is going to be pretty cheap. Yeah, we're looking at, what, 70 cents, so that's $2.10. Plus $2.10. Puts us to 148 on the dot. That's pretty nice. Let's get some Parallel Exceed. Parallel Exceed. Why do they have to have so many words with para at the start of the name? Exceed is just the easiest way to search this. Let's go to playset of that. That does only leave us with 3 spots left in the main deck, as I'll switch over here so you can see the progress that we're doing with the build. Not too shabby at all. But that will be that. Let's go back over to here. Yeah, we're back on here. Okay, so we need an Abyss Dweller and a Totally Awesome. Hopefully Toad isn't too bad out of Gold Series. That could maybe be something we don't get to have in the deck. Which is something that is pretty important. Okay, but Abyss Dweller, we've got $1.41 on that. So let's go plus 1.41. Okay. Not too bad at all. We're looking at probably going to have about $40 hopefully left here for flex spots. So this deck build's not too bad. Let's get in a totally awesome. Only $5. That's actually a massive bargain for totally awesome. At $5.52, not too bad at all. Definitely a key card for our deck. So totally. You can definitely look at playing extenders like Monster Reborn if you want in the build. Something I probably could recommend if you were like really wanting to cut out the hand traps and make it like a going first build. However, I do feel you want to have that kind of versatility to protect yourself. Odds on Ghost Spell will be what we go with. Maybe Drolls, depending on the price of Droll. We need 3 more cards for our extra. That'll probably be some Nightmare stuff. Given that we aren't going to be... We can't afford the access code. That's definitely not going in this extra deck. Looking at Nightmare Phoenix. We could go Phoenix Unicorn Boral Sword Dragon. That could be important. What would we be missing out of this extra? We've got handy dandy Prank Kids deck sitting over here. No, that's pretty much all the versatility we need. Yeah, let's go. Let's go with his Nightmare package, and then we'll look at a Boral Sword. So we'll go for a Nightmare Phoenix at 54 cents. Just cards that you can generally clear board with and try and push for game. You might not use the Unicorn as much without the access code, but it's always something good to have in your extra. So let's go for plus 0.52. And then we'll go plus... What's the Unicorn at? 0.89. Still puts us to $156. So we'll get some Nightmares in here. Let's go for 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn. And then let's look at what Boral Sword's going to cost us. Boral Sword did used to be the old boss monster for this deck. Are you going to load? Boral Sword Dragon Ultimate. Surely this is the cheapest version, the gold rare. It is, yeah, at $5.50. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. You will have noticed on the last page that it said it was a lot more expensive. That's because that's the most cheapest person that ships to Australia. Because it's really expensive to get stuff from TCG Player out here. Wouldn't recommend it if you're in Australia building on TCG Player. It's a pain in the ass. Let's get a Boral Sword. We could even consider, with the 3 cards left in the main deck, we could look at a Thunder Dragon fusion. You could then look at a Monster Reborn and cut the Nightmare Unicorn for a second copy of Battle Butler. Given that you've got that Thunder Dragon fusion to activate from hand, like, kind of goes. If you want to Verte, you can Verte, but Verte's expensive. We aren't going to be able to afford that. So now, given that our extra deck is finished, we do need to put in this this Boral Sword, though. So we're at $161.87. So we can spend that $16 or $17 on the Ghost Spells. That put us up to $178, and we have $20 to build a side deck. Lord of cheap staples will need to go into there, but I think we can probably get that done. I think let's have a look at what Droll's going to cost us if we want to go the Droll line. Droll and Lockbird. It's got it, yeah. Of course, it's the simpler. $8.40, so a little bit more expensive for Droll. You can see here the lowest price is like 14, so it may have seen a buyout, which we'll avoid it in that case. We need to get that Drollbird back on market. If you have a Drollbird to sell Drollbird. Yeah, do that. Do that now. Let's go for the Ghost Spell. Then we might have a look at building our side deck using Dual Devastator and try and get some ideas from that again. So let's go for the Ghost Spells. Get a play set of that in here. We're going to be spending what on that? So that's $6, $18 minus 9 cents. So that'd be $17.93. 17.93. Okay, that gives us... So at the end of the main deck and the end of the extra deck, we're at $179.80. So you can see we've got $179.80 here. I'll make the switch so you can see the list on Dueling Book. So that's our kind of main deck list at the moment. We might sort this. Where are we? Sort A to Z. Makes it look a bit nicer. Give it a save for our $200 deck build. So now we've got to spend, what? $20.20 on a sideboard. Let's switch back to here. We've already got this up, so let's go Dual Devastator. Dual Devastator? Oh, no, it's just going to bring up the card itself. We would like to go to the Dual Devastator part. Perfect. Okay. So out of Dual Devastator, we've got stuff like Wiretap. Well, not Wiretap. Yeah, of course. Silent Graveyard. Silent Graveyard's not too bad. We might need some Spell and Trap removal. MSTs will probably be necessary for this build. We can always Book of Eclipse, because we can, like, Regeki the board anyway. We need the normal summons, so, like, stuff like Denko's not the best. Although Denko does, like, shut out the opponent. What have we got? Heavy Storm Duster. Maybe some... Oh, DD Crow. DD Crow's decent at the moment. Lancia as well. We're actually... Yeah, we're definitely going to go with the Lancia definitely in that sideboard. So that'll be... What? $3, $4. Let's just do it at $1, $1.70 minus the 3 cents after. So that'd be $3.40. $4, $5.10 minus 3 cents. So that's $5.07. So now plus 5.07, putting us to $184 as we add some Lancias into this build. Wait, could there have been a cheaper version of Lancia? Look, we should double check that. Let's double check to make sure there wasn't a cheaper version of Lancia on market. Be a bit dumb for us. I think there's the common as well. No, I didn't want that. We clicked the wrong thing here. Let's go back for Lancia. Ogre's pretty useless this format. All versions of Lancia. That's not how Lancia works. Oh, let's search it. Artifact Lancia. At $1. Okay, so we're going to save a little bit of money, which is pretty good. If we get those DUEA commons, so that'd be $3.12 instead. Yeah, we saved a decent chunk on that. It was a good thing we did that. So minus 5.07. Add back on $3.12. That's better. Saving a little bit more on those Lancias. When you're trying to squeeze every penny, we go for the commons. Always go for the commons. But now let's check out... What was the other card? DD Crow. D.D. Crow. Whoa. Why is the common not that cheap? Okay, we save the money on the Lancia. We can afford the Crow. So that's, what, $6.90 minus 3. That'd be $6.87. So plus 6.87 equals... Looking pretty good. D.D. Crow. 3 Crow into the sideboard. Let's head back to Dual Devastator and see what's going on in here. Oh, MSTs. We need Mystical Space Typhoons. Maybe... Yeah, no. Well, how much is Twin? Let's have a look at Twin. This deck's consistent enough that you can afford to lose a card out of your hand. So 80 cents on Twin Twisters. That'd clear a little bit more. I think we'll go with the Twin Twisters instead. So that's going to be $1.60, $2.40 on the Twin Twisters. Plus 2.40. Get those Twin Twisters into the sideboard. Twin Twisters. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, back to here, please. Okay, we need 2 more cards. I think now we go back to that Dual Devastator well. What's the best way to get to that? What is the best way to go? Actually, let's check it. Forbidden Droplet. Forbidden Droplet. Forbidden Chalice. Chalice at 30 cents. I think we're going to go with some Chalice here, and then we might go for a going first card after that. So it's going to be 93 cents, so plus 0.93 brings us to 193.12. We get some Chalice into the main deck, into the side deck, sorry. Forbidden Chalice. 1, 2, and 3. Now something you could even consider is Mystic Mine. Given that this deck can play around Mystic Mine very well, Mystic Mine's $10, so we're not going to be doing that. Last, going first card in Prankids. We're not going to be citing stuff like Summon Limit. That's a mistake. Torrential's not good. Let's go to Dual Devastator. We'll have a look. Let's go back to DD Crow. Triple D Crow. Best D Crow. Gonna load eventually. Dual Devastator. Let's have a look at what's hanging around in here. So we've got stuff like Typhoon, Forbidden Apocrypha. Not the best stuff for when we've got a little bit of money to spend. We can look at anti-spells, maybe get a turn skip out of this. Rule Decrees, turn off all traps. Nothing too, like, blow away amazing. Maybe some Solemn Brigade, but I remember the Solemn Brigade still not being the cheapest kind of thing in the world. And with what? We can maybe check out Solemns. Even Kaijus. Get rid of some problem stuff, certainly. We'll be back as we decide on that final thing, and we'll get to our deck build. Okay, so we've completed the deck build. The final card we ultimately decided to go with was Compulsory Evacuation Device. I kind of figured being able to just remove a summon without having to burn our Regeki could be useful when we're going first, so we're definitely going to give it a shot. We did end up coming in well under budget in the end. We spent 193.87, so we're not going to complain at all. The compulsories were only like 75 cents. Really rounded out that extra deck really well. So you could even like decide to flare out a little bit. You can expand some stuff as you want to go through. Maybe even look at doing the whole like get rid of the unicorn. You can play the stuff like Thunder Dragon Fusion if you want to, but I would recommend having some kind of disruption for going first. Yeah, we'll go through our deck build. So for our hand traps, we're 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Ghost Spell, then 3 Parallel Exceed for chain blocking, then 3 Dropsies, 3 Fansies, 3 Lampsies, 3 Roxies, 1 Cold Buy, and 1 Instant Fusion for kind of extension and disruption to kind of like, of course, get rid of hand traps. Then we've got 3 Pot of Desires. That's the reason why we're going to be playing some elevated ratios as we get through the list. Reason why we're playing 3 Roxies as well. But then we've got, 3 Pandemonium, 3 Pankid's Place, 2 Pranks. I would normally recommend only playing 1 Pranks and 1 Plan. 2 Plans I like in the way I play the deck, but I would normally recommend 1 Pranks. You're playing Desires though, so you'll need to play 2. Then we've got the 1 Terraforming, of course, 2 Prankid's Plan, and 3, there can be only 1, rounds out the main deck. For the extra, for our fusions, we've got 1 Rocket Ride, 1 Washer, and then 1 Battle Butler, of course, the important one. For our XCs, 1 Dweller, 1 Toad. For the links, we've got 1 Boral Sword, 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, then 1 Bow Wow Bark, 2 Doodle Doo for our Prankid links, 3 Meow Meow, and the 1 Rip Roar Rooster. Then for our side deck, we've got 3 copies of Lancia, 3 DD Crow, 3 Twin Twister, 3 Chalice, and 3 Compulsory Evacuation Device. Round out that side deck. But yeah, thank you very much if you've tuned in for this month's kind of deck build challenge. $200 should be all you need to spend. Hopefully there is some stuff that's overly elevated if you're trying to build Prankids. I would recommend spending a little bit more though and having some interactions and stuff. You could, if you had kind of a better kind of hand trap ratio that you were looking at, you could cut the Desires. I'm not a super fan of the Desires build at the moment anyway. I would definitely recommend playing more powerful hand traps in the list over stuff like that. Like if you cut the Desires, 1 Pranks, you can fit some better hand traps in there. That is always probably my recommendation with this one. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.